Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So what I want to do in this one, just a couple of changes, as I wasn't quite happy with the result that I had when we're going to create a reply, and we're going to add some additional things. We're going to add Mailtrap as well, so that we can be able to get the notifications. So if someone replied to a post, and it's a couple of things that we're going to do and just update in this one. All right, so let's go into our code editor and get started. Right, the first thing that I want to do, if we go to our database, notification, migrations, just to our notifications table right here, just change your, all right, the table was like this, table ID, all right, just change it to a UUID, because it is actually coming with Laravel, with the Eloquent, so UUID. You can see it comes with it, and just create that. You put obviously in your ID and the primary key. Right, just do that. All right, I will explain this in a second once we actually start creating a reply so that we can send the notifications. But for now, I'm just going to uncomment this so that we cannot see it. So we just comment it out, and I will explain it in a second. Just change it to the UUID primary. Okay, you will see why in a second. I've done a lot of testing just to make sure I kind of bring in new things and explain things to teach you guys. All right, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go to our seeder right here. Go to your notification seeder. All right, just put an ID field in there and just change it to string. UUID to string right there, and just import, make sure you import obviously Illuminate support str at the top. Right, this is just a Laravel helper to create a UUID, and I just want to convert it to a string. Just make it unique. All right, that's the part. The next part that we want to do is we want to update our email view. All right, so let's go there. Next part is just go to update, resources, views, emails, new reply. Right. Now the thing is, you need to specify, there's two parameters, the one for the category and the one for the thread. Let me just open my web right here. Right. You see one for the category, our web route for our show route is one for the category, all right, and one for the thread. Right, I put them all next to each other, but it must be an array. All right, let me just show you the array like this. Right, so there's basically the array. Right, the category, as you can see, I'm returning the replyable category in the slug. Another one is the thread, is basically the thread slug like that. All right, so just update your category, your mail button component. Otherwise, if you click on it, you're going to get an error because it won't know if you put it all in one string what is what. All right, so in this case it will know, all right, the category, this is it for that one, and for the thread, this is it. All right, and you put them all in an array. Okay, so that's it. I don't want to waste too much time on that. All right, so the next part that we want to do is we want to set up a Mailtrap account. Okay, so let's do that. Now, as you can see, I already have an account with Mailtrap. All right, and so once you created your account, you will get to this part right here. Go to your inboxes, right? Then you click on your demo inbox. All right, as you can see, I already done some testing. I'm just going to delete all of these. All right, now what you want to do under your demo inbox, under SMTP settings, you will see you will get your curl CURL. All right, just go down to PHP and you click on your Laravel 7+, that one right there. Then you basically copy everything in here, and you right click or however you want to copy, or you can just click the copy button right there. All right, just copy everything, and then we go to our code editor and to set that up. Right, so we go to our code editor and we go to the .env file and we just paste it in here. All right, as you can see, I already got mine pasted in there. All right, if you please don't use mine because the details work as follows. It will only send it to that user, so meaning it will catch all the emails that is being sent from your Laravel application will go to this point. So if you use my details, all your test emails will basically go to mine. No point in doing that. It is a free account. Make sure that you put your details in there so that you can be able to get the notifications. All right. And I'm using a free service, not a paid service, so I'm only limited to a certain amount of, obviously, test emails per month. All right. So that's all done and set up. And the next thing that we want to do is now we want to reseed our database, right? To seed the database and to just test the things. All right. So let me open up my terminal. Okay. Just open it up here. Just bring it up there. So PHP artisan migrate fresh and -c. All right. So while that is busy, all right. So we're all done here. All right. Let's just open up our browser just to check our database. Right, as you can see, we've got our database open. Under notification, you will see we got our IDs, our unique URL IDs. We got our replies from our seeders right there. The next one is we got our replies as well. All good. And obviously, we need to see if we got our threads in there as well. All right, so everything is quite nice and set up. So let's go back to our application and just log in as John Doe. Okay, John at sample.com, password. Right, as you can see, let's go here. Right, let's go to John's account right here. Right, just click on it. Right, and just create a new reply. Create a new reply. Right, then we post the reply. All right, as you can see, it takes time because now my computer is actually acting as the server. Now it's actually sending the email and actually saving it in a database. But when we implement the queue, it will happen in an instant, and in the background, it will actually send the things like that. So that's why it took a little bit of time right there. So we're supposed to get the email in here. As you can see, we got our email right here. As you can see, John Doe has replied to this thread, and that's actually what we have typed in that thread. So actually, so basically this is the body of the reply right here. So now, as you can see, if I click on this button, I'm supposed to go to this view right here. So let me just close that view. And if I click view thread, you can see we get to that view because we just updated our button to work correctly. I'm actually still not quite happy with our delete button right here and the way I implemented. I might just change this in the future, but for now, it's suiting its purpose for now. All right. So the next thing is, as you can see, it worked right there. So let's go to our database and let's refresh and actually go and check our notifications right here. And as you can see, we got our notification right here. All right. Now, the reason why I'm saying is, as you can see, your notifications right here, when we create a notification, it creates actually a unique UUID right here. All right. Now, if I used an ID, let me just show you what happens so that you can understand why I changed it. I changed it first without explaining. So now I will actually just show to you what actually happens when we actually change it to an ID. Right, under my migration, I'm just going to change this to an ID, and I'm just going to comment this one out. You don't have to do it. You will just see what happens when I do it, okay? So let me just go to my seeder as well, and I'm just going to just change this as well, that ID, just comment it out as well. Right, so I'm going to reseed my database. I'm going to do that again. Then you will see what happens. All right, let's quickly create a new reply. This is a new second reply. Okay, let me just post this one. All right, as you can see, it's trying to send the email. All right, as you can see, this error right here. It actually is supposed to actually say the ID is being truncated and stuff like that. All right, but it doesn't do that. It's just incorrect date format, which is not the problem actually. All right, but anyway, let me just show you like this. You see, it passes an ID like this. All right. In a normal ID field, it accepts an integer. In this case, this field is too large to fit in the ID field right there. That's why it creates a UUID code. Now that code is too large for that field, a normal ID field. Okay. So let me just show you the reseeded database. It creates an ID field of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's the normal standard ID field right there. All right. But a UUID field, when you create a notification, actually supply you with a UUID. And this field is actually too large for a normal ID field in SQL terms. All right. Just to make it kind of plain language. All right. So that's why I need to change my ID field to be UUID field to be able to accept the data that's coming from the notification when we create it. All right. So that's why I change it to a UUID field. Right? This is actually supposed to be data truncated ID field something, incorrect value. All right. Right. I'm at John Doe's post again, so I'm just going to paste some lorem ipsum in here, just to make the reply a bit longer right there. Okay. So as you can see, the reply is created. This assistant field that I need to delete. Let me just show you one that is actually. Basically, I added this field right here just to kind of test the different things for what the reply will actually return when I actually wanted to click that button for our thread right there. So that's the only reason I added in here. Right. So let's go to our browser again. Now, as you can see, we got our reply right there created. So hopefully our Mr. John is okay. As you can see, John Doe has replied to your thread, and this is actually what they have said. And then we can actually just click on that and we can view the thread right there. All right, so we know our emails are working. So this is obviously just a test. I will delete this all in a second. All right, so our notification is supposed to change as well. So as you can see, that new notification for the database is there as well. All right, so I just wanted to set this up correctly. So if we create the replies actually get sent out like the emails and things like that. So we all done there. So now in the next part is I want now, because now the basis for me works. But now the thing is that you still need to add is we need to add the event that listens for this. Okay, so let's go back to the browser, to our code editor, sorry. Now, as you guys remember from the previous lessons, we created our event, our reply event. Then we had our listener right here that listens for the event. And then we, in our event service provider, we mapped that as well. All right, so now the thing is, all of this is very nice unless an event is being fired off, that this event is being fired off. All right, so let's quickly go to our jobs. Jobs right here, when we create the reply. All right, in our handle method right here, we're just going to fire off that event. Then we're going to create a new reply, create that event. Then we pass in our reply right here. This reply that we created, we pass that reply is in here as well. Okay, so that this event needs to fire off in our job as soon as a reply is created. And just make sure you update, bring in that reply, that event actually at the top. All right, so just underneath your reply save, just add the event. Your new reply was created and you just return the reply. Okay, so as soon as this event fires off, then our listener listens for that event. Okay, so then you say, okay, that event fired off. Then you create a new reply notification. And then it was obviously when we go to our new reply notification, then it sends it to the mail and it sends it to the database right there. All right. So that's about that. Okay, so just make sure that in your job, when you create the reply, we add that event to fire off as soon as the reply is created. All right, we can actually create it on Observer for that, but in this case, for me, an event just works perfectly as well. All right, that's it for this lesson, guys. In the next one, we're going to start creating our LiveWire components. I keep on saying the LiveWire components, but I just want to iron out things to make our job when we get there just a little bit easier. All right, thank you guys for watching, and if you like the video, please give it a like. If you think this is not a nice video, please give it a dislike, and some constructive feedback is always appreciated. Thank you guys, and see you in the next one.